Change Lives for Good with your host, Greg Kepferle.
Hello. There's a neighborhood in San Jose, just south of downtown, called the Washington neighborhood. It's an amazing, thriving community that's facing challenges of gang activity, of poverty, of the struggles of lives of immigrants trying to make ends meet in a new community. Hello, I'm Greg Kepferle with Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County, and welcome to Change Lives for Good. With me today are folks from the Washington United Youth Center, and we're going to talk today about the Washington community and the amazing work that this youth center is doing in our community. So with us today are Sarah Reyes, Director of Children, Youth, and Family Development at Catholic Charities, Mark Lopez, who's the manager of the Washington United Youth Center, and Jairo Arreola, who's the Children and Youth and Family Specialist at the Washington Youth Center. Welcome, glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thanks. So I'm going to ask Mark first. So tell us a little bit about the Washington Youth Center. How did it come about, and what's its role in the community? What do you do there?
So currently I'm the site manager. I actually grew up in the neighborhood about 2 blocks from the center. Before it used to be an old Safeway, and during the early 90s, there was a lot of gang activity that started to kind of take over the neighborhood, and the parents really came together because they wanted a place where youth can go to after school, because there's no nearby middle schools or high schools. So when kids got out of school, they had nothing better to do but get into trouble. So community came together. We met with the mayor, and I was actually part of that whole revitalization of the entire neighborhood. And one of the fruits that came out was the building of the youth center. And 15 years ago is when it first opened.
So 15 years ago, so now you're celebrating the quinceañera, right, of the youth center this year. So it came out of the challenges that the parents in the community said, we need this help. But today it's more than just a center for youth, right? You're doing a lot more in the community, creating it more like a community hub.
Exactly. So we do have classes that start from kids as young as 1 and goes up probably about 80 years old. We have a lady that comes and does Zumba. So it's really become more of a family community center where we offer programs and services for people of all ages.
So the services, though, you don't provide just by yourself, though, right? Is it Catholic Charities providing all these services, or do you have other partners helping out?
No, we've been able to build partnerships with different agencies and community-based organizations. We have a large amount of volunteers that also come in and teach some of the classes, such as our music class. We have a lady who's been coming for 3 years, and she teaches piano and guitar. We have a martial arts instructor. My sister, who actually works for Catholic Charities, she also volunteers as a folklorico dance instructor. So she's been there since the center first opened, offering classes for the kids in the community.
That's terrific. So one of the issues that the parents had when the center was first built was the fact that the youth didn't have a place to go and that they would get into trouble. And with gang activity high, 15 years ago, and gang activity still a challenge today, what are you doing around gang intervention and gang prevention work?
So we do get funding from the city of San Jose and the mayor's gang prevention task force to kind of help with the gang problem that we have there. A lot of it is intervention services where we do bring the kids and do empowerment programs. We have a couple of groups that serve young ladies and another one that serves young gentlemen. And we kind of go over different life skills and getting them to make better choices. One of our staff actually developed a curriculum that's been used since the center opened, and actually other agencies come and use it for their programs. Girl Scouts is another partnership that we've built this last year, and they come once a week as well and work with our young ladies.
Mm-hmm. So the center really is a community hub, and Sarah, as you look at that and you look at Catholic Charities' role in the community, why is that so important to you that Catholic Charities is providing this service to the community?
I think it's important for Catholic Charities to provide this service because Catholic Charities and everything it offers as a social service agency becomes the one-stop shop for the community. It's located in the community. Our services are there. Our staff live in the community. The majority of the staff live there. It's a location where people could get resources to other services, whether they be immigration, whether they be housing. So it's important for us to be there because we are equipped to meet the needs as well as to build those strong relationships with the community.
So Catholic Charities has been rooted in that community for over 15 years now, and the Catholic Church, obviously, through the parishes, local parishes. But you also have other partners that you're working with that help in the center.
Definitely, we depend on our partners. We feel that, yes, Catholic Charities can't do it all. We do count on our partnerships. So the Second Harvest Food Bank provides food services once a month at the center. We also work with this neighborhood school, Washington Elementary, the library, which is the Biblioteca Latinoamericana next door. So with all those partnerships, providing services, providing resources, and supporting each other and doing such difficult work is transforming the lives of our youth.
So you said the magic word, transforming the lives of our youth. Can you share maybe some examples of some of the youth whose lives have been changed? I don't know, Mark, you may, well, you're one, right? You came through the center yourself, and Jairo yourself, yes. You know, as a youth in the center. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit about your experience, Jairo.
Well, yeah, growing up in the neighborhood, I remember watching it being built, and it was a new thing, and I was in 8th grade, so everyone was excited, and we couldn't wait to get in there. Just very, anxious to see what it was going to be like, because we had nowhere to go. Before, we used to be in the cafeteria. Then they moved us to a trailer at Washington Elementary School, so we really didn't have anywhere to hang out and do, things that, teenagers and middle school students do. So when it opened up, it was, it was like going to Disneyland for the first time. So, we had a new gym, basketball courts, a rec room, and the staff really, were there to support us and pretty much treated us like family. And, that's why I'm there today.
Yeah, that's terrific. So it's a sense of family, and you talk about all the recreation programs, but it's a lot more than a youth center and a lot more than a recreation program. I mean, what's your sense of what the youth center means to the community, Sarah?
Right, definitely. So as a youth center, we do more than just recreation. It is a place where some of the youth come for help. We do often have youth that are homeless. They don't have the means to go to school, whether it be transportation. Sometimes they don't have adequate clothing for that. So as they come to the center and seek resources, because a lot of the youth want to better themselves. A lot of the youth don't want to be in gangs. So we do provide that outlet and those options with our programs. Some of the staff are supporting youth in getting basic needs as their driver's license, their ID, to get a job, driving them to different schools and options. So really it is that extra support that some of the youth need to be successful in life.
That's great. So I know you're really passionate about the youth center and about our commitment to the Washington community. What is it about that what motivates you that moves you so much, that you care so much about this community?
Well, I think it's in my blood, so my parents are have been helping the community ever since I can remember. And so I think it is also part of my beliefs and my faith around supporting and helping others. It is rooted in my upbringing to live a life that, you are going to make a difference in other people's lives, and to feel that it is a privilege to have a home, to have a warm bed, to have food. And so for those who don't, it is a responsibility, I think, as a human, to help others.
Our responsibility to help others, and we're doing that at the Washington United Youth Center. We'll be back with more from Changed Lives for Good.
In 1997, Catholic Charities was selected to operate and manage the Washington United Youth Center, an after-school community site for teenagers in San Jose's Guadalupe, Washington neighborhood. Over the years, the center has responded to the needs of the community by providing recreation, cultural enrichment, leadership development, gang intervention, and counseling support services for youth and their family. Today, the center is a positive, safe place for youth and families to learn, grow, and have fun together. The center currently serves 100 to 150 people per day. The Washington United Youth Center provides youth and their families with the support needed to be successful in school, employment, and in the community. The center offers programming targeting youth ages 12 through 17 and support services for parents and other adults. The center seeks to empower youth with the skills, knowledge, and support needed to succeed in school, at home, and in the community. The center is available to youth between the ages 12 through 17 years old, with some programs for parents and adults. Membership is $25 a year for youth and $30 a year for adults.
Catholic Charities works to end poverty by helping families and individuals get the tools they need to become more self-reliant. It offers a hand up rather than a handout through a wide range of services and serves more than 41,000 people each year of all cultures and beliefs.
Hello and welcome back to Change Lives for Good. I'm your host, Greg Kepferle, CEO of Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County. And we're talking about the Washington United Youth Center in the Washington neighborhood. Part of this center is possible because the neighborhood itself said, we need this place, a safe haven for our youth. And some of those youth have grown up, not just in the center, but they now are coming back and helping the community. And one of those is with us today, Jairo Arreola.
Yes.
Welcome, glad
you.
you're here.
Thank you.
And we have an opportunity to hear a little bit more from you with a brief video of your own experience growing up in the neighborhood and your commitment to the community. And we really appreciate what you've done on behalf of Catholic Charities in the community. But I think this video shows how important it is that people from the community really are working together, neighbors helping neighbors.
It felt like home. It felt like a place where I felt safe, and to me that was, as a kid growing up, you know, there's nothing better than going somewhere, even if it's a friend's house, but you feel welcomed and you feel like it's your home and you can do, you know, feel comfortable doing whatever you want in this center. From elementary school, Mark always was involved in our elementary school, and he started a youth group, so I think Mark's probably been like the biggest role model that I can remember, and I obviously still keep in touch with today. I think growing up in the community in Washington, you know, when I was young, I saw like a bus someone was trying to get broken into by fellow gang members, and then the drive-by shooting. So I guess it kind of desensitizes you to when you do get exposed. With my youth and my community, I just want them to know that there's options out there, you know, that we don't have to stay, you know, even though it's a good community, that, you know, we can be exposed to different communities or different environments and cultures, and we can travel and we can, you know, do all sorts of things. But obviously it's going to take a little hard work and dedication. And well, back then in our communities, you know, gang population was pretty high, so a lot of my friends that, you know, didn't go to the center or that ended up joining gangs, you know, they went to jail. A few of them committed some serious crimes. So, you know, some of them did attend the center occasionally, but they weren't like active participants. Well, if the center wasn't there or the youth group, I mean, you never know, but just if I didn't have that support system, or that group of friends that always kept going back, and we always just kept hanging out and doing, for the most part, the right things, because when you're young, you do mess up here and there, but if it wasn't there, if I hadn't joined the youth group at such a young age and been part of the center and watched it being built, who knows, I could have probably ended up joining a gang, or not finishing school, not being pushed by some of the mentors that I had growing up, to finish school and to go to college and get good grades. But the support was there, so I think that's what for me helped me out. But I know if I didn't have that, then I probably would be doing something totally different. There's a quote that I heard that has stuck by me, and it goes something like, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Jairo, that's an amazing quote. I'm going to use that quote because that's really terrific, because I know each of you cares so much, and that's the power of the Washington Youth Center. And one of the things that you're doing is really amazing. It's this Adobe Youth Voices. So tell us, what are you doing with that program?
Yeah, so with Adobe Youth Voices, it's a program where we get to use multimedia and videos and music, and we sort of incorporate some of those aspects into bringing social awareness to some of the issues that the youth are going through. So we've done topics like preventing teen pregnancy, drugs, homelessness, and just some of the we gear it towards some of the holidays that come around, so the youth create posters and images that we can use as promotional items for a youth center, and just to get them experience with that.
So it's another creative outlet for youth, using technology, using music, using their own creative juices, to be able to express their struggles, their challenges, but also their joys and their hopes, right?
Yeah, and we're just there to guide them, and just as a resource. A lot of youth come in with ideas, especially the musically inclined youth that want to write their own songs, and we sort of just guide them, maybe just help them out, give them suggestions, but they're the ones coming in motivated every day, and trying to create something that's going to make a change. So we're just there to sort of support them and just provide the equipment that they need, and they get to work with it.
That's great. So you're providing the support and guidance to them,
Mm-hmm.
but it's their creativity. But it's your passion that makes that happen. It's your commitment to them. So what's motivated you to give back to the community, as you said?
Yeah, just growing up in the community, and now that I get the opportunity to be back and help out some of the youth that attend the youth center, it's just very rewarding for me. I did some time in the military, and then when I got out, I told myself that I'd want to get a job where I don't have to wake up in the morning and say, oh, I got to go to work, today, So I don't really see it as a job. It's something that I go in there because I'm learning something new every day from the youth. I'm learning something new from the staff, so it's just for me rewarding personally, and I know that the youth are, hopefully getting something out of it, especially knowing that I was a former participant and I grew up in the area, so I kind of just, give them some of my personal experiences, and hopefully they learn and get a nugget in there from me.
That's great. Thank you. So Mark, what keeps you motivated every day? I mean, this is hard work. These are kids that are impacted by gangs, by poverty, by all sorts of challenges, and you're running the center with all sorts of partners and trying to keep it all together. What keeps you going?
I think just seeing the people's faces, how they enjoy coming to either to work out or to be part of the teen studio. It's just seeing the people very happy and gracious that we're offering this place to them. I think it's what drives me and keeps me going.
So their own happiness, their own gratitude, is the joy that they have in the experience that they're going through at the center. So Sarah, for yourself, what keeps you motivated? Why are you in this work?
Well, I'm in this work because I have children and I want them to live in a better world and follow my footsteps around changing lives of others. The Washington neighborhood is a very beautiful place despite the challenges, there's a beautiful community that comes together for gatherings. They support each other. It's very lively. On a Saturday afternoon, you could hear music coming out of the houses, and so it's very lively and cultural, and so it has its beauty to it. And I think that's what keeps me motivated, that it's not a very desolate place and dangerous place. There's children that are riding their bikes in the neighborhood and playing and laughing. So I think that's what keeps me motivated, that we want to continue that for the community kids. My barometer for the community is if it was my children living there, I want the same for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Because it is your community, right? It is our community, and that's really powerful. So what do you need to make sure that the Washington United Youth Center is around in another 15 years? What support do you need from the community?
Yeah, so we are currently in the process of planning community tardeadas, which are Sunday afternoon gatherings for the community with music, live music, and getting the community together to know each other, support each other, to involve the youth so they're not seen as just these invisible people, but that they are part of the community and they can be an asset if they're guided towards the right direction. So our needs there are always volunteers to support with the events. We're always looking for sponsors, whether it's the food, whether it's the music itself. We're always looking for donations for our game room, our air hockey table needs to be replaced. It's 15 years old, so things have, do wear and tear because it's very heavily used. Monetary donations are always welcome. Our goal is to try to extend our hours as much as possible. We do open around 3 o'clock, but there's youth sometimes as early as 12, 1 o'clock, kicking the ball around in the front, waiting for the center to be open. So, we would definitely like to ensure that it's always going to be open, when the youth need it.
Right. And as we've said before, it's not just for the youth, it's also for the families and the parents. And you talked about Zumba classes, right? Mm-hmm. You're doing micro-enterprise. I think you got a micro-enterprise program around Zumba, right? That's one of the things that you've been doing. Whitewater rafting in the summer.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about whitewater rafting.
Sure. So the center staff actually are certified. There's a group of center staff that are certified whitewater rafting guides. And they've been doing that for over 10 years through the Friends of the River. It's an organization. It's around water conservation, around ensuring that the rivers are clean and protected. So we partner with them to take youth out to the Sacramento River, the American River in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. And it's really an educational experience for the youth. Most of them have never been outside of San Jose, haven't been down the river. Most of them don't swim, but yet it's a very safe program. But it's the experience of coming together and counting on each other to accomplish an adventure, accomplish a task, where it's very, beneficial about learning to work as a community. Yeah.
And getting a little break from the city and being able to see the stars at night too, right?
Definitely, yeah. Being outside of the environment is a whole different experience for some of these youth. So yes, we offer various activities that are not only youth focused. We do feel it is a community hub. It does take a community to raise our children and to support our children. So as Mark mentioned, we have grandmothers coming attending the center. These are all women from the neighborhood, and some men also attend our Zumba classes. They're all from the neighborhood, and supporting our youth is important, that they're also exposed to the work that we're doing, and that we're helping each other to ensure that the youth have the appropriate guidance from every single one of us.
Right. So if there's one thing that you would say that you're most proud of about the Washington United Youth Center in your experience, what would that be? Any of you?
Well, for me, it's also growing up in the neighborhood that I'm actually now part of that hub, that community place where families feel safe and they come and congregate. Just that I'm actually now on the other side of it, where I'm actually managing the place and someone from the community there. So I'm proud that I have this opportunity.
Great, thanks, Mark. Jairo?
With me, I'm proud, and it just feels good when I've worked with youth, at the center when I first got out of the military. Now that they're a little older, they come back and like, hey, I remember you, Mr. Heido, and it just feels good knowing that they still remember, and I just follow up with them, see how they're doing in school and what they're doing with their lives. So just keeping that connection with the youth that are former participants and now that are getting older and coming back is very rewarding for me, because I know that, you know, they still remember me at least, and they still remember the community, which is always important.
Thank you. Sarah?
Well, I'm proud of the staff and the team that worked tirelessly at the center. We just had a Giants game that we took some kids last night, and I know they didn't get back till around 11 o'clock at night, sacrificing their own family time to support the center. It's so amazing to see that. It's very, I feel very proud that they, you know, they'll do whatever it takes to ensure that the youth are getting the support and resources. I have one staff that drove to 9 high schools to try to get one of the youth in, until finally one high school said, yes, we'll take this youth back. You know, these are youth that, you know, they made mistakes and they're ready to change, and staff are persistent, and they support the resiliency in some of these kids. So I'm proud of the staff.
That's great. So the Washington Youth Center is that community hub. It's more than a place, right? It's more than a safe haven. It's more than a place for youth. It's more than recreation. It is the spirit and the heart of the Washington neighborhood. And it's because of the amazing staff and volunteers and the kids who grew up in the neighborhood who are now running the center, which is really amazing. It is that place called home. Yes. And that's really exciting to see. So I'm really excited that you really are changing lives for good. Your lives have changed for good, and in turn you're changing so many others' lives for good. So I just want to say thank you so much to the amazing work that each of you are doing on behalf of the Washington neighborhood and on behalf of Catholic Charities in the Washington United Youth Center. So thank you. So this has been Change Lives for Good with your host, Greg Kepferle, CEO of Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County, talking about the Washington United Youth Center and the Washington neighborhood. We need more people, more places like the Washington Center. So remember to speak up, reach out, and change lives for good.